The Wizard Paragon, the Magus Perfectus, has two abilities. The first one everyone knows, is the Arcane Metamorphosis, but the second one is the one that no one actually uses. The second ability is actually called Phoenix Rebirth, and this is a very interesting ability which recently got a huge buff. Now honestly, the reason why no one uses this ability is because the Metamorphosis is so overpowered, and both of these abilities actually take out the entirety of the mana pool of the wizard, so when you weigh in the costs and the benefits, it's usually better to use the Metamorphosis than the Rebirth ability. However, in the recent update, the Rebirth ability actually got some very nice buffs, where its damage over time got increased from 2.5 to 3,500, that is a 40% increase. The resummoned ZOMGs now do double damage from 4 to 8,000, and the resummoned BFBs go from 700 to 1.4k. Now keep in mind, the thing with these numbers is that this is only for a degree 1 Wizard Paragon. So this thing actually becomes quite insane, and just how strong does it become? Well, we are about to test it. We're playing against Elite Bloonarius for this one, and the reason why I want to do it like this is because Bloonarius summons a lot of spawns on every skull. So the idea is that we're going to entirely use the Wizard Paragon, we use the Metamorphosis to deal with the skulls, and then whenever we get all these resummons, we just clear them out with the Rebirth ability. Now one of the problems that we're going to have is essentially just farming up for the Wizard Paragon, because it is the I believe it's the second most expensive Paragon in BTD6, and I actually want to get it as fast as possible, and what I mean by that is preferably before the tier 2 boss. So because this is just like a purely test type of a video for the new changes, I don't exactly mind spending some of my insta monkeys for this thing. So let's just get a couple of instas down. And actually, I think we might even see the Rebirth ability do decent damage to the boss by itself. Now, the way that this Phoenix Rebirth ability works, you can actually be very clever in the way that you're using it. So what happens with the ability is that once you use it, it's going to consume the entirety of your mana pool, right? Then it's going to summon all these ZOMGs and BFBs. However, if you use up the entirety of the mana with, let's say, the Metamorphosis ability, and then while you're at 0 mana, if you use the Rebirth ability, the damage overtime effect is still going to get applied to all nearby Bloons, which is the thing that actually got its damage improved from 2.5 to 3,500 damage. So it's a very interesting way to kind of, I guess, min-max things in a way, so you do a lot of damage with the Metamorphosis and then you use the Rebirth ability. But the downside is obviously that you're not going to be getting all these zombies, and the zombies might be important for the resummons for Bloonarius actually. Alright, so for the tier 1 boss, let's actually do it like this, because we don't have the money for the Paragon, right? So let's get the Archmage. I guess we could go for the middle path because there was some mob damage improvements onto the wall fire and the fireballs, and I'm gonna have the Archmage like this, and then here on the other side I'm going to be getting this thing, the Prince of Darkness, which is basically the idea behind what we're trying to do. These resummons are gonna clean up, I guess, Bloonarius' spawns, and then the Archmage in the main attack, or just, well, when we get the Paragon with the Metamorphosis, is going to be hopefully dealing with the boss in its entirety. And this is actually doing a lot of damage. This is, by the way, the Elite Bloonarius. The Archmage is doing, wait a minute, why am I not using the Archmage versus bosses? Look at this thing. It's only getting buffed by Jungle Drum's Village, and it's melting the Elite boss. This is insane. And also, look at this guy at the backline. He's clearing out every single spawn because I have the Archmage set on strong, so he's only focusing down the boss. This is really good. Alright, so this is giving us a taste of what we should expect from the Wizard Paragon in a second. But yeah, I also bought the Call to Arms to kind of just be safe, but I guess no. I mean, the tier 1, this is, guys, this is exactly what we want to be doing, but just like with one single tower. Yeah, there goes the tier 1. So that was a pretty simple clear, honestly. We are going to be getting, you know, the NG Paragon. We're going to be overclocking it, so we're getting the full experience for sure. It's just, we need to get the money for it because it's super expensive. You know what? This was actually really good. Can we do that on the second tier of boss? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start ultra boosting the Archmage. Let's see if this is going to make any difference. Let's get the Archmage to 10 stacks. I'm going to get the Homeland, and then, I don't know, maybe some damage amplification towers if necessary. I think we should try it with something like the Super Brill or whatever. By the way, this is the last video before update 52 drops, so yeah, it's gonna be super interesting. I'm very excited about Frontier Legends and the Ice Paragon specifically. I actually did not get to make an early access video because there were some problems with the build, so kind of bummed out about that one, but it's fine. We're gonna get onto it in a couple of days. Actually, it's gonna be tomorrow if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so let's see if we can deal with the tier 2 boss. This guy has been ultra boosted 10 times. Okay, that's great. We have the first skull incoming, but these summons are going to be a little bit beefier. We're talking BFBs. I still have this guy set to strong, the Archmage, so let's see if the Prince of Darkness can actually handle everything. It seems like it is. Looking at this, I don't even think the Prince of Darkness is attacking as much. I feel like this ultra boosted Archmage is just doing so much damage that the boss is just getting destroyed like nothing. Let me just keep moving the wall of fire, I guess. Yeah, Yeah, oh my god, this damage to mob class Bloons that the wizard got, especially the 520, this is nuts. Let's see how much damage this thing does. It's insane, guys. This is so much damage. Why am I not using the Archmage versus like tiers 1 and 2 bosses? I guess just like a simple overclock is gonna do it, right? Like it's popping it so fast that I don't think it matters. Like this is just like a viable solution for the tier 1 and maybe a little bit for the tier 2 depending on the boss that you're playing against, because the wizard paragon generally, like this wizard tower, obviously is not gonna work versus Blast the Populace. Obviously it's gonna have some certain issues with the Bloon and the magic community, but other than that, this is kind of nuts. Let me do one more homeland and yup, just the tier 2 gone. And I just kind of wanted to get rid of these first two tiers of boss a little bit faster so we can get on with the wizard paragon now. Alright, so this is the plan. Round 79, the tier 3 is incoming in a second. We're just gonna get a degree 1 wizard paragon, which by the way is insanely strong. So this is obviously gonna be more than enough. Let's just buy it like this, but we're gonna be playing off of the rebirth ability for this one so that we can actually get a taste of how strong it is. Also, the cooldown on the rebirth ability is kind of short, so yeah, we're gonna be able to spam this thing pretty much, well, as much as we want. So let's drain some mana, or I should say fill up the mana pool. The ability is going to come off cooldown in a second. Let's just kind of see how much damage single ability does. So we're about at full mana. Let's use the explosion. Alright, the explosion did not exactly do a lot of damage, but there's a damage over time effect which gets applied, and this is what's actually, along with these resummon ZMGs, doing like, oh, that's great. The effect lasts for 30 seconds and does damage every half a second. Oh, but we have an issue with the backline. Alright, so let me quickly try and buy this Flying Fortress just to clean out all these ceramics. It seems like we're cleaning them up, but oh my god, guys, this wizard paragon, when it doesn't have mana, when it's trying to drain the mana, it sucks. Okay, so let me sell this thing. Maybe we should have thought about the placement of it, because these resummoned Bloons, I guess they're getting resummoned like here at this point where Benji is. Let's drain some mana, let's fill it up. We're about halfway there, so we're doing a lot of damage. Oh, I think we need to, yeah, let's activate it. I think we're leaking some Bloons. Yeah, okay, so look at this thing. Look at where these ZMG resummons start. So we need to actually have a better placement of the wizard paragon, maybe here at the back line, so that the summons start a little bit further back, and that's kind of the reason why we're leaking these ceramics, because we still have some resummoned Bloons down here, if you guys can see them. Okay, so now our Flying Fortress, if I can buy it on time. Thankfully, this is only the tier 3, so the Flying Fortress is actually helping, but for the other tiers, it's not going to be helping. We need to rebuy this thing in a second, so let's sell it again, I guess. Let's drain some mana, fill it up, and then with the last rebirth ability, we should be able to, oh my god, if we can actually, okay, so the Phoenix gets reactivated. Yeah, so we're just gonna dump the ability. Boom, that's gonna explode the boss completely. And there goes the tier 3, which is a very interesting thing that just happened. Yeah, so you have to be very, very careful in your placement with this guy if you're playing off of the rebirth ability, it seems like. Honestly though, that was pretty good. That was not bad for a degree 1 wizard paragon, especially playing off of the weaker ability, and the damage over time was the thing that kept the damage going. So I think that was a good showing of the ability, but keep in mind that was only the tier 3 boss, and you usually don't buy a wizard paragon for the tier 3 boss, regardless of which boss it is. Also, it seems like we're gonna need a little bit more cash than what we're making, because I'm gonna be selling this wizard paragon. We're gonna be buying another one for the tier 4, and then another one for the tier 5. So let's make sure the economy is up to speed with everything. I'm just gonna get a couple of 420s around here. Alright, so 98. I think it's time that we sold the paragon that we had for the tier 3. So let's go like this. Now let's place the other one up here. Which degree do we want to go for, I'm thinking? Should we give it a shot with a degree 1 again? I think that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, let's try with a degree 1 again. Let's see if this guy's gonna be able to deal with the boss. So now the good thing is that this guy's range is here towards the back line, so whenever we hit the rebirth ability, the resummons are gonna start from way back, and I think it's gonna be a little bit better with the resummons at least. So let's see how we're doing. Obviously the base damage is not as good before, as you guys can see in the, I guess, the normal damage that this paragon does to the boss. So you have to play off of these abilities if you're running the wizard paragon. So let's drain up some mana. We're at 30k. The rebirth ability is ready, so let's see how much damage this thing is gonna do now. I mean, this is a super expensive paragon, so it should be doing kind of a decent amount of damage. Let's use it. Alright, so the damage is ongoing. You can kind of see the ticks from the damage over time, but not as much this time around. But look at the summons. The summons are actually clearing out whatever Bloonarius is spawning, so that's good. And let's proc this second skull and then use the rebirth ability, but make sure we're doing it with as much mana as possible. So go like this. The Phoenix is getting activated. We're gonna trigger the skull, and then as soon as these summons land, I'm gonna drop the rebirth ability. So that's all these bad Bloons, and then go boom. boom. The damage over time effect is getting applied on the bats, which is really good. And look at this thing. Look at all these ZOMGs now with this extra damage they've gotten. That is so good. Do we clear them out? We did. Look at the new BFBs. That is insanely good. Alright, so this is exactly how you want to use the paragon. Oh my god, wait a minute. Purples. We seem to have dealt with them with the small, I guess, the zombie balloons, but we need to do something about these guys. Oh my god, this paragon, man. I don't know what we're doing. Maybe just like a glaive lord here on the side. Just have the orbiting glaives deal with the purple there, I think is going to be fine. And then we have another rebirth ability, so let's fill up the mana. And we have some summons on the field, so I think it's time to, yeah, let's use the rebirth ability. Apply the damage over time. That was 77k mana, by the way, that we used. So let's see how good these UMGs are. How are we dealing with the bats and their resummons? Because they're 45, and it seems like we are. Oh my god, that is so good, actually. Yeah, this is exactly how you're supposed to use it, guys. And especially with the Metamorphosis ability, I think you drain all the mana with the Metamorphosis, and then you use the rebirth and you apply the damage over time effect. But the problem is that you're not going to have enough mana to clean up basically all of the small balloons. You're either going to need another paragon, or you just leave a little bit of mana so that the resummoned balloons can take care of the, I guess, the Bloonarius summons. Alright, it's degree 1, it's round 110, and we are a little bit more than halfway there, so let's do it like this. Let me trigger the Metamorphosis ability. By the way, oh my god, this thing is eating up the boss. You cannot use, by the way, the rebirth while the Metamorphosis is active. So if I click this, oh, you cannot click this button. I didn't know that. Oh, let's go on first. Are we leaking actually? Oh my god, please tell me we hold. No, these resummons are eating us up. Okay, so when we drain the mana, I'm gonna click the rebirth button. Yeah, go like this now. Apply the damage over time effect. And look at this thing. It's actually getting applied, but no resummons. That's the problem. So everyone is on fire, but no small balloons and no resummons to help us out. Okay, let's activate the Phoenix now because we have some mana. Yeah, this is how you're supposed to play this thing, guys. A little bit of micro with the Wizard Paragon for sure, but it's a degree 1, which is going to be the tier 4 Bloonarius, and I'm kind of impressed by this thing. Alright, so fill out the mana a little bit. We're gonna trigger the last skull in a second. Yeah, there we go. So go like this now. Activate the Phoenix, trigger the skull, and then let's actually drain a little bit of mana. Trigger it with this drain attack. Oh, we cannot actually afford to do that. Oh my god, go like this. Oh, that is very, very close. Okay, so do the rebirth now. That was 87k mana spent, by the way, so that's gonna be a lot of ZMG resummons, but is it gonna be enough? Because, oh no, look at this thing. They've passed the entirety of the track. Okay, I think we have to go Metamorphosis on this one. Yeah, let's use the Metamorphosis and let's move it to Strong. Oh, we cannot see Bloonarius actually. Oh no. Alright, but this is good because we're gonna get one more rebirth ability off. So go like this, apply the damage over time effect. All these ZMGs kind of stumbling into Bloonarius, and I think this is gonna do it. There we go. And look at the round, by the way, 119, guys. This is the last moment that you're allowed to beat this boss or else. Alright, so let me turn off all the star. Let me buy a high degree on this Wizard Paragon now. So I'm just gonna use the cash slider, see what degree we get. It's gonna be a super high one anyways, but I want to get the NG as well for the overclock. So let's have it like this. We're just gonna do a degree 1 on the NG, by the way, because we don't need its firepower. We just need a little bit of a helping hand with the overclock ability. That's it. And now let's see if a degree 56 is gonna be able to do it. So first things first, I want to start with the rebirth ability, just kind of see how much damage it does. Let's trigger this thing, just get the mana drainage ready, because I want to use it while we're at full mana, or I just want to have the mana as maxed out as possible. 70k, the rebirth ability is ready. Let's go like this. Boom, that was almost maxed, by the way. And how much damage is this thing actually doing to the tier 5 boss? It's not doing too bad, honestly. The damage over time effect is, I don't know, for an ability that's supposed to be cleaning out and wiping out small balloons, I think that was fine. Obviously, the primary use of the ability is not to do single target damage, is to wipe things out, so that was kind of a fine showing, I guess. But let's do the overclock and the Metamorphosis now, which is the intended way to use this paragon. So go like this, get the Metamorphosis ready, set this guy on Strong. Yeah, look at the HP. Okay, let's have him do first the, oh my god, the backline is getting destroyed. Oh no, is the Flying Fortress gonna help us out again? I think it kinda is. You know what we should do? We should do like a degree 1 Boomer Paragon, which is only gonna scratch the boss for sure, but it's like gonna help with the backline. Let's just have it like this, I think, especially with the Orbiting Glaze. This thing is not doing any damage to the boss, by the way. And how is the HP doing? Oh, we have the rebirth ability. Okay, so let's go like this then. Let's drain some mana, let's fill it up, and then on the second skull that we proc, we're gonna use the rebirth ability. All right, so happening in a second. Let's make sure the mana is filled out, and as soon as this thing pops, I think we're gonna be at, yeah, we're gonna be at about max mana. Let's trigger it again. Let's wait for these bats to land, and then boom, use the ability. Damage over time getting applied. That was max mana, by the way, 99k mana. And now let's watch all these new ZMGs. Okay, so they're going inside, they're attacking these balloons, and I think that, yeah, all these summoned balloons, like, they're not going anywhere, it seems like, guys. What we're gonna do again is, by the way, the same thing. So let's overclock, let's use the Metamorphosis, just kind of do as much damage to Bloonarius because it's only one Paragon attacking, right? And then I'm gonna do the thing, actually, Actually, I have this guy set on strong, but oh my god, the HP, that's so many resummon Bloons. Oh no, are we dealing with this whole thing? I don't know, but we're gonna use the rebirth ability the second that we have 0 mana. So right now, that didn't do anything, but the damage over time effect is still getting applied. So just kind of watch the backline and this Glaive Dominus. It is holding, that is really good. What a cheat code this thing is. I'm not sure if Ninja Q intended for us to use the paragon like this, but yeah, if you have 0 mana and you trigger the rebirth ability, you actually do still apply the DPS effect to all Moab class Bloons, which is kind of nuts. Alright, so let's do one last Metamorphosis plus, I guess, the rebirth ability. So we don't exactly have a lot of mana, but that's good, I think. So let's go like this, activate it again. And look at this thing, everyone is burning again. That is so good. Yeah, honestly, what a cheat code this way to use this paragon is. So let's wait for these last summons. We're gonna use the rebirth ability to go like this. That was 50k mana used up. That's nice. Let's see these ZMGs. Well, actually, I only see one ZMG, which turned into BFBs. Are they gonna be able to deal with the bat? They are dealing with the bats. Oh, that's so good. All right, and let's go like this. Go on strong. One last Metamorphosis plus Overclock, and there goes the boss. Let's go back on first just so we deal with small Bloons. It has a new Phoenix Rebirth ability. Very, very cool, and especially this Wizard Paragon. I mean, you guys knew that this thing is basically insane, but with the new Rebirth, yeah, there is some interesting gameplay to be had with the cleaning up of the small Bloons. So very nice changes. That's gonna be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.